أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم عبد الله ورسوله أما بعد. We thank the Almighty Allah for giving us another opportunity. We thank Him for His mercies that He's bestowed upon us. We bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship except the Almighty Allah. We also bear witness that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is His servant and His messenger. Whosoever the Almighty Allah guides is really guided, and anybody who goes astray has nobody to blame but themselves. Alhamdulillah. As usual, we have our Sirah class, and today, Sunday, the first day or the second day of Jumad al-Ula, 1444 years after the hijrah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It also corresponds with the 25th day of December 2022. Today is our 9th episode on the Sirah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In the last episode, we spoke about the Prophet's marriage with Khadija radiallahu anha, and who Khadija was and her life before Islam, and basically the important role she played in the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we promised to look at, issues pertaining to women. And of course, it's a very important subject matter to discuss, especially if you are discussing Khadija radiallahu anha. We need to look at women rights in Islam, women in general, and the kind of lessons we can all pick from the life of Khadija radiallahu anha. For the past 100 years, we realize that women issues have come to the fore, where you have people who call themselves feminists, they want to liberate women, speak up women rights, speak about hijab rights. We've got to extend that people are speaking about the right of women in the light that if Muslim men can marry 4 women, why can't Muslim women also marry 2 men or 3 men? All these ideas about rights has taken center stage, in a discussion when it comes to women rights. And we realize that you find some Muslim women who also, by virtue of the fact that they want to speak about women rights, bring in Khadija in. Some of them, correctly, bring in Khadija in to be able to motivate the Muslim woman today to aspire to greater heights. Others also bring in Khadija for their own, personal interests, and then they only tap a side of Khadija that they want to tap, especially her business role, where Khadija was a businesswoman, Khadija was employing people, so that's where they want to tap. But then the other side of Khadija being a mother, being a wife, being a responsible member of the community, not an independent, selfish person. So these are some of the things we want to look at in today's episode, which is Khadija and the modern day woman. Previously, I wanted to talk about Khadija and then the modern day Muslim woman, but I realized that we'll be narrowing it down only to only Muslim women. But I believe every woman on the surface of the earth can look into the life of Khadija and then learn something. She might not necessarily be a Muslimah, but then Khadija radiallahu anha is a source of light for women wherever they find themselves. Islam recognizes the woman as the other half of the society, meaning the man is a part of the society, making up 50% of the society, and then the woman also makes up the other 50% of the society. The Almighty Allah tells us in the Quran, Ya ayyuhan nas inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha wa ja'alnakum shu'uban wa qaba'ila lita'arafu inna akramakum 'inda Allahi atqakum. That Ya ayyuhan nas. In this verse, the Almighty Allah did not specify believers or non-believers. The Almighty Allah made a clear-cut general statement. Ya ayyuhan nas, O humanity. Everybody is in there. The Muslims, the non-Muslims, whatever you are, so long as you are a human being, this verse is directed to you. Inna khalaqnakum, verily I, the Almighty Allah, had created you, humanity, min dhakarin wa untha, from a male and then a female. So Islam recognizes the fact that the woman is a human being. You know, in some civilizations there were discussions, even in ancient Greece and Rome, there were discussions whether the woman is a human being or not. The philosophers had these discussions, whether the woman is a human being or not. And some of them gone to the extent to say that, yes, the woman is not a human being, like the man. Some of them said, yes, the woman is a human being, but then she has a lesser brain than the man. So she and the animals are in the same vein. Yes, it happened in some civilizations. Some civilizations see the woman to be just an everyday tool for the man to use, like a bowl or a spoon to use. Some civilizations see the woman as that. Some civilizations see the woman just as a sexual object for gratification. You just need the woman for sex and that's it. And it was mainly found in Rome and Greece, whereby the women were just there to satisfy the sexual needs of the man. Some civilizations go to the extent to burning the wife when the husband dies. That when the husband dies, then the woman doesn't have any reason to leave. She needs to go away with the man. So she's also burned with the husband. And some civilizations have got to the extent where if you are giving birth, if your wife gives birth to a wife and to a girl, you are not happy. And the Almighty Allah states that in the Quran, وَإِذَا بُشِّرَ أَحَدُهُمْ بِالْأُنْثَى ظَلَّ وَجْهُهُ مُسْوَدًّا وَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ يَتَوَارَى مِنَ الْقَوْمِ مِنْ سُوءِ مَا بُشِّرَ بِهِ أَيُمْسِكُهُ عَلَى هُونٍ أَمْ يَدُسُّهُ فِي التُّرَابِ أَلَا سَاءَ مَا يَحْكُمُونَ. That if they are giving a glad tidings of a baby girl, ظَلَّ وَجْهُهُ مُسْوَدًّا, you realize that the face turns black. وَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ, he is full of sadness and he is full of anger. يَتَوَارَى مِنَ الْقَوْمِ مِنْ سُوءِ مَا بُشِّرَ بِهِ. He dodges people, he escapes from people because he doesn't want people to meet him, because he feels shy, like that he, a man, has given birth to a woman. That's what he feels. So this is what, women have been through throughout the world. That women have been, used and dumped across civilizations. It's a fact. We can't run away from it. Some civilizations treat women well, some civilizations didn't treat women well. And even up to today, that we think we are advanced, we are in the 21st century, we've gone to the moon, we are thinking of sending people to Mars, and all this technological advancement, is the woman better off? I don't think so. Because we've changed the ideology of the woman, or the subjugation or the oppression of the woman has been modernized now. And inshallah, in our discussions, you'll see that. So the Quran sees the woman as the other half of the society. Where Almighty Allah also tells us in Surah Al-Rum, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. That amongst the signs of the Almighty Allah is He created from us, our wives, our spouses, لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, so that we will get some peace and tranquility living with them. In Surah An-Nisa, the first verse, Almighty Allah tells us, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ اتَّقُوا رَبَّكُمُ الَّذِي خَلَقَكُم مِّن نَّفْسٍ وَاحِدَةٍ وَخَلَقَ مِنْهَا زَوْجَهَا وَبَثَّ مِنْهُمَا رِجَالًا كَثِيرًا وَنِسَاءً وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ الَّذِي تَسَاءَلُونَ بِهِ وَالْأَرْحَامَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلَيْكُمْ رَقِيبًا. The Almighty Allah here is also telling us that yes, the woman is what is the other half of the society. Furthermore, Islam really recognizes the intelligence of the woman. Because we live in times whereby people, always accuse Islam about, the position of the woman, what role does the woman play in Muslim societies. Islam recognizes the intelligence of the Muslim woman, or of the woman in general, not specific to what? To the Muslim woman. Islam recognizes the intelligence of the woman in general. We have example of Khadija radiallahu anha, when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came from Ghar al-Hira. What he saw had frightened him. He was running home. He was, seeking for help. Zammiluni, cover me up. And Khadija had the foresight and the brains to understand that no, he is in anxiety. He's afraid. He's seen something that has frightened him. Let me console him. Let me cuddle him. Let me speak good words to him. Let me encourage him. Let me accommodate him. Whatever problems I'm having at this moment, let me put it aside, because my husband is in a situation that he needs me. Islam recognizes that. You yourself know that sometimes you go to work and then things are not okay. You come home and then the kind of face that the wife gives you in the house, you forget all the problems outside. Sometimes you come home all full of happiness. The kind of face the woman gives you, you remember all the problems you have from 1970 till date. It depends. So Islam really understands and then acknowledges that yes, the woman has some level of intelligence. When we go to Sulh al-Hudaybiyah, when the Prophet Muhammad came with the intention to perform Umrah, and then the kuffar of Makkah refused, and then there was this back and forth, the Prophet Muhammad told the Sahaba that, okay, why don't you, shave your heads off, shave your hair, and then you slaughter your animals. And the Sahaba, they had these hopes that we're coming to do Umrah, and that we are stronger than these people, who were 10,000 people more than them, who could just enter Makkah by force and beat them up, and then we perform our Umrah, and then we go back to Medina. But then why are we listening to them? These people are weak, they don't have anything. But the Prophet Muhammad is telling them, tell them, no, we have had a treaty with the people. Let's fulfill the promise that we made to the people. So the Sahaba were a little bit, down that we came to have Umrah, but it's not going to happen. So they were a little bit down. So he told them, shave your hair and slaughter your animals. They were not listening to him. And the Prophet went into his tent, and his wife Salama was there. And then he told her, Salama, these guys, I'm telling them something, they're not listening. They should shave their hair and then they should slaughter their animals. They shouldn't worry. This is not a defeat. This agreement that we have with the kuffar, even though it's not in our favor, it is a long-term success for us. And then she told him, Ya Rasulullah, you know something. You go out there, call your barber, let him shave your hair, and then you slaughter your animal. They will get up and do it. So when he came out, he just called the barber, he had his hair shaved, and then they brought his animal, he slaughtered, and the Sahaba all got up. And then everybody started doing what he was doing. So from this lesson, we realized that yes, she was a smart woman. She realized that no, Ya Rasulullah, at this juncture, words alone is not going to work with the people. You need to get up and then do an action. When you do that action, it is going to motivate them. So Islam recognizes the intelligence of the woman. Islam also in the Quran, the Almighty Allah tells us the story of Malikat Saba, Bilqis, where she was a nation at the same time as Suleiman, and then Hudhud went and then he saw them. They were not worshipping the Almighty Allah, but they were very, very advanced in their infrastructure, in their army, in their technologies. So he came back and then he gave Suleiman the story that yes, I've went and I've seen this group of people, but I realized that they are not worshipping the Almighty Allah. So Suleiman sent him with a letter to tell them that they should come and be Muslims. The lady, at that time they had a queen, and Islam, in proving to us the intelligence of a woman, she was the queen, and she has her army. She could have said, no way, let's go and attack him and fight him. She said, no. She called her army generals, she called her ministers and said, let's discuss this matter. This guy that has sent us this letter, and the letter is very short. Innahu min Sulaiman. This letter, Allah ta'alu alayya wa atuni muslimin. Do not be arrogant and come to me as Muslims. So it's just a 2-line letter. So the woman was like, no, a smart man will write you a 2-line letter. He knows what he wants from you. So what we're going to do is let's discuss this issue. And then her army generals were like, no. We have an army. Let's go and just fight him and then destroy him. She said, wait. A smart woman. She didn't want her empire to be destroyed. She wanted to test and calculate and see this man, what is his thoughts? How does he see things? So she said, what we are going to do is, no. Let's send him a gift. If he's someone who is thirsty and then he only wants the goods of the dunya, when we give him the gift, he's just going to accept it. But if he's someone who really says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, that he worships a higher God, then he has a bigger objective than these gifts that we are going to give him. So I'm not going to tell us the full story, but then she proved her intelligence and her understanding of issues more than the ministers that she had who were males, and more than the army generals she had who were males. They were just boisterous, let's go to war, let's go and fight them, not thinking about the whole community or the bigger community. But she was far-sighted in whatever she saw. Finally, on this point, the intelligence of the woman. We're speaking about the intelligence of the woman in the positive side. The woman is also very intelligent in a very negative part. And understand that. the wife of the king in Surah to Yusuf, you know very well. A very intelligent woman, very smart, but in negative. Yusuf, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, beauty was divided into two. And Yusuf was given half, and then who were given the rest of the half to struggle. Imagine, sometimes you see some men here in the Masjid, there are some guys here who are very handsome. Yes, you look at them and say, this guy is very handsome. Imagine, Yusuf was given 50% of beauty. So this woman, a young boy growing up in her home, she is the wife of the chief minister of Egypt at that time. And this boy is in her home, he's handsome. So she was trying all her ways, all her intelligent strategies. She's trying to use it to woo this boy into her bed. The Quran said, she moved with him into different rooms. And after every room, she would lock the door without him knowing. Oh, Yusuf, come in. I want you to check something for me. Come in. There's something in the far bedroom that needs clearing. So you just take the lead. I want to check something at the back here. So as he is moving, she is locking the doors behind him. And then they got into the room. And then she told him, Yusuf, there is something that needs to be done in this room today. And you are the one who is going to do it. He was like, why? She said, Ma ajmala sha'araka ya Yusuf. Yusuf, you have a very nice hair. He told her, this is the first thing that is going to fall off me when I die and I'm put in the grave. She said, Ma ajmala ayneka ya Yusuf. She said, Yusuf, you have very beautiful eyes. He said, when I die and I start rotting, that is the first thing that is going to seep out of my body. She said, Ma ajmala jismaka ya Yusuf. Yusuf, you have a very, very nice body. He told her that's the first thing that the worms would eat in the grave. And then he told her, why don't you fear Allah? She said, there's no fear of Allah here. And then he told her, if you don't fear Allah, this is your idol that you worship. Why don't you fear the idol so long as you worship the idol? You should fear the idol. The idol is seeing you are going to do something wrong. She took a blanket and then she covered the idol with it. The idol is not seeing us. So he got to a point whereby she has used all her words. She has used all her charms. She has used all her strategies. It's not working. And guys, let me be very honest here. Don't be in a seclusion with a woman who is not your wife. And don't tell me that you are a mu'min. Iman doesn't work there. Iman doesn't work there. The Iman is don't enter there. That's the Iman. The Iman is don't stay there. That's the Iman. But if you tell me that, it's not going to work. Shaitan has some arrows that if he throws at you, you can't dodge them. And one of his sure bets of arrow is a woman. If he flies that arrow, illa ma rahima rabbuk. So she has done all that she's going to do. It's not working. And she realizes that it is rush hour. Her husband is going to come in at that moment. So she was now struggling to find a way of just holding him to herself. Because if he's not going to do the real deal, at least she wants to have body-to-body contact with him. If she has body-to-body contact with him, it is going to mellow him. And it's a fact. No matter how gym training a woman is, when you touch her, you know it is a woman. That is how the Almighty Allah created them. No matter how masculine a woman is, and she is, in the army, if you touch her, you know she's a woman. So don't take chances with that. She was trying to catch a hold of him, and then he was trying to dodge, and then the door has already been locked. What happened? The scholars of the Tafsir are saying the Almighty Allah opened all the doors at once for him. So he started running, and then she was chasing him. They got to the door, and then her husband was there. Intelligent woman, smart strategies in a negative way. I'm there in the room, and then this young man just came in. He's trying to do something with me that you are the only one who's supposed to do. She started crying. What do you think is the reward for someone who wants to trample upon your wife? So she is the guilty one, but then she has sent the message straight to the police station first. And then when she complained to him, she gave the verdict and then she gave the punishment at that same time. is what he wants to do. The only reward you can do to him is illa and use jan. Either you imprison him or adabun alim, or you punish him. Now the question here is, if any man tries to rape a woman, what will be the first thing that comes to her mind? He's deaf, he should be killed. That's the natural disposition. But because she has a long thirst for him, she didn't want him to be killed. She said imprison him or punish him. Because so long as he's alive, she can still go back to the drawing board and start looking for ways to get him. That's how strategic a woman is. If you underestimate her, you underestimate her at your peril. Understand that? If you think that she's a woman, so you want to underestimate her, she will bring you down. I don't need to give you examples. Look at all the great men we have in the world now. Who destroyed them? Women. So don't take chances. So she's an intelligent person. Don't underestimate her. Don't ever underestimate, even if she's a 13-year-old girl or a 15-year-old girl. Don't say she's a small girl. Women are not small. She's not. Because that's how the Almighty Allah created her. One movement from you and then you are gone. There was a sheikh who was traveling, and then he got to a well, and then with his books he was relaxing, and then a young girl came passing by, a teenage girl, and then she was walking, wriggling her waist and stuff like that. He told her, hey, stop this nonsense. I've seen all these tricks that you men do, all these tricks. I know this is a whole book that I've written on the tricks of women. I've seen all these things. Said, oh, okay, yeah, just give me a cup of water. She gave him water, he drank, and then she said, oh, this is a book that you've written about the tricks of women. He said, yes. She said, let me have a look. She took the book from me and then she threw it into the well. And then she asked him, this trick, have you written it in the book? This trick that I've taken your book from you and thrown it into the well, have you written this trick in the book? He said, no. She said, go back and start learning. So they have that. The next point is Islam recognizes the fact that the woman has a role to play in the community. Which is, we have three groups of people in this vein, the role of the woman. The first group believes that everything a man can do, a woman can do equally. Everything a man can do, a woman can do. So there has been a systematic approach to this. The media has a role to play in it. The research departments play the role in it. The commercial part of it is also there. What they did was that they took away the God standard and then they brought in the man standard. What do I mean by this? Because they know the role of the woman is a very important role in the community and the family. And then they want to destroy the family system. And they can only destroy the family system if they destroy the woman. So they realize that so long as the woman adheres to God and God and God and God, she will always play true to her role. But then they took away God and they made man the standard, which is whatever a man can do, you can do. So if he can wear pants, you can wear pants. If he can drive a tractor, you can drive a tractor. If he can drive a bus, you can drive a bus. If he can go to war, you can go to war. If he can do this, you can do this. So the idea was that let's make man the standard. So in 2005, we realized that someone in America said, no. If the man can be imam on Friday, I too, I can be imam on Friday. And she led people khutbah in 2005, March 2005. It happened here in America. I mean, our dude. So long as the males are imams, we can also be imams. They did well in that. And they are almost successful, or they are successful. Because you realize there is a TV series called Sex and the City that Candice Bushnell wrote. After that Sex and the City program was that young women, you can be whatever you want to be. You don't need to be married. You don't need to stay in any house. You can go out there and fend for yourself. You can have your own apartment. If you want to have sex, you can just get just a random man, have sex with him. There are contraceptions. You can use your condoms. You can do your sex pills. And then you can do abortion. You don't have to have any allegiance to anybody. You don't have to have any responsibility to anybody. You are a free, independent, powerful woman. This ideology was set in that movie, in that series, and a lot of young women saw that is the way out for them. Because if she's in the home, the father will want to know when she's going out and when she's coming back. Who are the people she's hanging out with? What is she doing? What is she not doing? The family will want to know. But because they want to create a rebellious society and then break up the family system and break up society, some of these moves were put in there. The woman who wrote the novel, Sex and the City, Candace Bushnell, later when she was 60 years old, she regretted. And she came out, I think, in some of the Times magazine, and she was saying that she's regretted what she has written and the lifestyle she has been leading for all those years, because she's now 60. She realizes the importance of family, of having kids and having a husband and then a stable family. But she's 60 now. Who is going to marry her and then have children with her? Who is going to live with her as she's 60 years old when she spent all of her life, just running around thinking that she can cheat nature? Another woman, Sue Ellen Browder, also wrote a book, Subverter, where she said, How I Helped the Sexual Revolution to Hijack the Women's Movement. She was an author for the Cosmopolitan magazine, and they were also interested in promoting all these fields to the community. Because at the end of the day, it is money for some pharmaceutical companies. Because the more abortions you have, the more money the pharmaceutical companies make. The more you use contraceptives, the more the money pharmaceutical companies make. The more you have all these plastic surgeries to increase your boobs and your booties and all this, it is way that the pharmaceutical companies make money. Excuse me, today I'm a little bit blunt because I need to make some of these words clear, because if you don't say it out as it is, we're not going to get the message across. So they make all these statements, and this woman also later came and then she said, I've been writing all these articles to defraud young women, make them into commercial sex workers for all these big guys in Wall Street and all these corporate bodies. Because 18, 19, 20 young women, we know we prefer the 19, 20, 20, 25 to the 40, 45, 50. It's a natural trait in us. You can't run away from that. So that's what they do. So they do that to make these young girls who feel they are in colleges, they are in all these, developments, and they are being sold, not in shackles, but then fed with all these ideologies. And mostly, you realize that all these people who promote these ideologies are anti-religion. From the first feminist wave that we have in the 19th century, people like Susan B. Anthony, people like Helen H. Gardner, even Simone de Beauvoir, all these are people who had all these ideologies about feminism, and the idea was that they want to be free, independent women. Because they know if they are married, they will have responsibility to their husbands, they have responsibility to their kids, they will have responsibility to the community. But they don't want to have those responsibilities. So they are saying everything a man can do, a woman can do. So that is where that ideology came from. And then you realize that they always attack religion, because religion, especially Islam, has these rules and regulations. This is where a man is. This is where a woman is. This is the role of the man. This is the role of the woman. So when you realize now, in the modern day, the movement of the atheism is not attacking religion per se, but it's attacking only Islam. Because they realize that no, it is Islam that has stood or is going to stand, and it's still standing in the face of all these, challenges that these women want to, profess. There's a book, or there was an article that Gloria Steinem was asked, what do you think about religion? She said, we don't talk much about religion. Religion is our problem. Religion is our problem. And until we do away with religion, we cannot have our way. So this is the first group of people who say a woman can go out and do whatever she wants to do. There are no rules, there are no ethics, there are no consequences. But later, when these women turn into their 50s and their 60s, and then they become alone, and there are no kids, and there are no grandkids, and there is no family, they are all alone, that is when they remember that they have been sold a lie when they were teenagers. We've got to a point whereby now, the lies have been modified to the extent that young people are being told that you can be a male, but then you can feel that you are a female, so you can go and then you will have your organs changed to be a female. You've got in there. And some females are also being told you can feel that you are a male, and then you go and then you have all these, all these surgeries to change you to a female. And this has increased the rate of depression in these people. The transgender movement is full of depression because your mind and your soul and your genes and your chromosomes is male. And you go and then you change it to be a female. So definitely there's going to be a clash of ideas in your head. You go mad early. And this is what is happening. And the pharmaceutical companies are making big money. And you find doctors and researchers are there because that's where you can make the money. And they are not interested in anything ethical or moral. No, you are the ones who are interested in any morality. So they go to that extent. And sadly enough, you find young Muslims. I'm a Muslim feminist. Up to now, I've not understood that thing. I'm trying to understand what it means. Muslim feminist. I'm still trying to understand. Because it's feminism is, fighting for the right of the woman. Then isn't that what Islam has been doing all this while? It's like you are saying, I am a non-alcoholic drunkard. I am a drunkard, but I don't drink alcohol. That's what you're saying. It doesn't make sense. It's not saying big. And they are encouraging young women to just go around being promiscuous. That's it. That's what they are encouraging women. It's not about what men can do, women can do equally and then can do well. No, the idea is how do we get the young ladies to be promiscuous and then be having sex anyhow. That's the idea. So that's the first group of people. The second group of people are saying no woman should go out. All the women should stay home. And that's also not viable. It's not going to work. So you have some traditional Muslims who have that at the back of their minds that women are not going to go anywhere. They are staying put in the home. It is haram for her to go outside. We have a colleague or a neighbor back home in Ghana who was traveling and then he told his wife, "You're not going to go anywhere. Stay home until I come back." He locked the door from outside. He traveled. And one day we were hearing cries and weeping and moaning in the house. Who is in there crying and moaning? We went to the door and then the door was locked from outside. And how come is the door locked from outside and then someone is inside? So we broke the door and entered. The woman was there sick. I said, "What's going on?" She said she's sick. I said, "Okay, let's go to the hospital." "No, my husband said I shouldn't go anywhere." "Don't go anywhere." We picked her, we took her to the hospital. Later he came, and he didn't find his wife in the house. She was hospitalized. And he couldn't ask anybody because he didn't leave his family in our care when he was leaving. So later he took the car and then he asked, "Where is my wife?" We said she's in the hospital. And then he said, "Who gave you guys the audacity to enter my house and take my wife to the hospital?" That's how some people think. That there is no way you can be of service to the community or to his wife. There are rulings in Islam, yes. The original position of Islam concerning the woman is وَقَرْنَ فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ. Stay home. That's Islam's original position. Stay home. But then he said, وَلَا تَبَرَّجْنَ تَبَرُّجَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ الْأُولَى. If you're going to go out, don't go out the same way the women of the Jahilin and the Kuffar do. So Islam allows the woman to go out. For deen purposes like going to Hajj and Umrah, she can go. For her to come to the Masjid, Islam allows her to come to the Masjid. If there's a class in the Masjid, Islam allows her to come to the Masjid for the class. If there's a need for her to go outside the home, whether it's the deen or it's the dunya, but then so long as it is beneficial to her or the family or the community, Islam allows that. And there are rulings gathering that. So when Islam says the woman should stay home, it is not a straitjacket thing that stay home and then nothing else. No. We live in times whereby we need women who are gynecologists, we need women who are nurses to take care of our wives. So some of the members of the community must sacrifice this, that the women go out and go and study those things that are women particular or women peculiar for our wives and our daughters. It is a man, it is a woman who is to have access to the body of a woman when she is sick, not a man. That's what Islam says. So if you say our daughters are going to stay home and they don't want to go anywhere, who is going to learn the gynecology, who is going to learn the nursing, so that when my wife gets pregnant, instead of a big kafir, with all due respect, using his hands to touch where he's supposed to touch, it's better for us to have the girls go out there, go and study all these sciences, learn and come and teach our kids and nurture the next generation of Muslims. It's a broad topic. But then, what I leave you with on this point is that Islam allows the woman to go out. Her primary role is to stay in the house. That's number one. And that's non-negotiable. Because her stay in the house is going to raise the next generation of Muslims. You know very well that when a baby is born and a baby is crying, you, the man, even holding the baby is an issue for you. Right or wrong? It's an issue. You hold the baby at one side, the baby is crying because you are very hard, you are very strong. You are very, very hard like cement. King, 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 that's how you are. But then the woman will just hold the baby just one time, just smelling the fragrance of the mother, the baby is okay. It's just one example. And that's why the Almighty Allah placed the womb in her and not you. And when the woman is pregnant, you know all that she goes through. I always say this, if pregnancy is 9 months, the woman should hold it for 7 months. In the last 2 months, it should be transferred to you, and let's see how you will be able to cope with it. It's not possible. So there are roles that Islam has placed for the woman, and there are roles that Islam has placed for the man. There are things that the woman will do, the man can never do. And there are things that the man can do, the woman will never do. There are things that they will both do, but the man will excel more than the woman. And there are things that they will both do, the woman will excel more than the man. The Scandinavian countries like Finland and Sweden and Norway are trying to say gender equality, gender equality. They open it up and then they realize that the men are doing more in science and technology and mathematics more than the women. Because it takes a long time for study, it takes a long time, it takes a toll on the man. When we all go out there, the weather will beat the man, the rain will beat you, the sun will beat you, the snow will beat you, but your skin is the same, you are the man. But the woman goes through all these adversities, it will reflect on her body. That's how the Almighty Allah created us. If you understand this, it's simple, but then different ideologies are coming in and then things are going crazy. So we need to have a balance between the two. How are we going to cope with it? Sometimes young Muslims look at the Muslim community and say, there are problems, there are problems, there are problems. Yes, there are problems, but the solutions are always found in the Quran and Sunnah. Feminism is not the solution for us. Liberalism is not the solution for us. Individualism is not the solution for us. Our solution is in the Quran and Sunnah, and that's it. If men are being abusive to their wives, the Quran didn't teach them that, the Sunnah didn't teach them that. The solution is in the Quran and Sunnah. If fathers are not taking care of their child or children the way it's supposed to be, the solution is not in feminism, it's not in liberalism, it's not in individualism, it's not in all these isms that we have. The solution is in the Quran and in the Sunnah. If women are doing this or that, the solution is in the Quran and Sunnah. Forget about what other criteria other people are using. Some people want to be social activities and then gender activists. But then the issue is that what does Quran and Sunnah say about this movement? The kuffar ideology or yardstick shouldn't be your standard. The yardstick is Quran and Sunnah. And when you follow the Quran and Sunnah, wallah, you will find things easy for us. The men go out to fend for the family. The women stay home to take care of the next generation of the Muslims. That's what it is. But then if there's a need for the woman to go out, to go to school and study, to go to the madrasa to study, to go out there and then to have even work, that work should be in compliance with the Sharia. It is not an open door policy when it comes to Islam. When we do that, definitely we will find a lot of success in the dunya and the akhirah. I have a lot of points to speak about concerning Khadija and the modern day Muslim woman. Our time is fast spent. And it's always time for Salah. I think about 5 more minutes. And I don't know. One more point and then we may talk about it another time. Which is, Islam really recognizes that when a woman does good deeds, her good deeds are accepted. When the man also does his good deeds, the good deeds are accepted. The fact that it is the man who leads the prayer doesn't mean that you, the man, your salah is more accepted than the woman. It is nowhere in our Sharia. A woman will be standing there at the back, and because of her level of iman is higher than mine, her salah will be accepted more than mine. True or false? True. That's what Islam says. But then, Islam has made a criteria. The man has been given superiority over the woman. That's it. Not because he's the man, no, but because that is how the Almighty Allah wants it. If you accept it this way, you're free. But then if you say no way, you'll be questioning the Almighty Allah and say, why is Allah huwa, he in the Quran? Then Islam is what is anti-feminist. That's where they go. But Islam says a woman لِلرِّجَالِ نَصِيبٌ مِّمَّا اكْتَسَبُوا وَلِلنِّسَاءِ نَصِيبٌ مِّمَّا اكْتَسَبُوا. Whatever the women do, they'll be paid or they'll be rewarded justly, and whatever the men do, they'll be rewarded justly. So in a nutshell, Islam recognizes that yes, a woman is a Muslimah, she is a mu'mina. إِنَّ الْمُسْلِمِينَ وَالْمُسْلِمَاتِ وَالْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ. The Quran recognizes all this. A Muslim woman is entitled to an education. A Muslim woman is entitled to inheritance. It was only in the 18th century or in the 17th century that women started inheriting in Britain. The Muslim woman was inheriting 14 centuries ago. It was only recently in the 18th, 17th century that women were allowed an education in Europe. The first university to be established in the world was by Fatima al-Fihri. She was a Muslim woman from Algeria. So all these things point to the fact that we Muslims are ahead in terms of all these rights that these people are speaking. But the problem is, if you always look at what other people have, you will never ever cherish what you have. And that has been our problem. We always look outside. What do these people have? What do they have? What do they have? What do they have? And then the gold and the diamond that is in front of us, we don't see it. We go around running over clay or running over salt. Let's teach our kids the importance of Islam. Let's let Islam reign supreme in our homes. Let the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad always keep ringing in our homes, and we'll make a headway. But then all this entertainment is not going to help. And even now, even in cartoons, they are pushing in those LGBTQ stuff in cartoons. For people as young as 2, 3, 4 years old, they are being pushed there. Just yesterday, I saw, or the day before yesterday, I saw a cartoon that the girl was arguing with her mother, and then the girl won. And then part of narration is that it is okay to disobey your mother. It's okay to disobey your mother. So if this is the ideology that's being pushed, then we also need to do a lot of work to stem the tide. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار سبحانك وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين السلام عليكم. No question.